Hello and welcome to another episode of Cyber Potato, where I'll be teaching you about functions in JavaScript. Okay, so now we maybe even use some functions during the episode of Cyber Potato, but now it is time to talk about them properly. Okay, so what is a function? Function is a construct that enables you to encapsulate some recurring behavior in your application and use it across your code. Often there will be a situation where you would like to perform some calculations many times. For example, take different arrays and filter them in the same way. And this basic building block that enables you to do so is a function. Let's start our journey with some differentiation, because there's something called a method and there's something called a function. And for example, a method is something like math random. Okay, we call it to get a random number from 0 to 1. And this function called here, as you can see, lives inside of an object. In this case, the math. So every time you call a function that is living inside of some object, you call a method of that object. Okay? And this can be, for example, something like calling on our array of actors. We can call sort. To sort is alphabetically by alphabet. Or, for example, if I define my name as Slim Shady, I can just call a method on my string. For example, to uppercase. Okay? And these all are being called properly, but are being predefined for us by JavaScript language. So how about creating our own functions? And this should be rather easy, because we can create one using keyword function and giving it a name, log random number from 30 to 120. Okay, and we can write a body of our function saying math floor math random times 90 minus 30 plus 30. Okay, that should do the trick. Okay, so here we have keyword function telling JavaScript that we'd like to build a function. Then we have a function name, then a parenthesis, curly parentheses, which mark the start and the end of our function, basically everything that goes inside. So here, start of the function body, and of course end of the function body. Anything inside is the body of a function, so the stuff that our function should actually do. Okay, and then how about calling our function? It's just a matter of simply taking the name and adding a parenthesis. Okay, we see if that's correct. It seems so. Okay, and it's to 90, I believe. The upper bound is 90 actually. Okay, so here we have our function, but thankfully our function can actually make a lot more than just log something to the screen. One important thing is, as with mathematical functions, we would like our function to take some arguments and perform its calculations based on that argument. So let's do log random number from 30 to upper bounds. And I would like to have a possibility to call my function like this. Let's say that for one time I would like my upper bound to be 1000, and in the other case I would like my upper bound to be 60. Okay? To actually use an argument, I must define in an argument list. So here I'm saying the name of the argument, upper bounds, and now it is available for me to use inside of the function body. So I can change my function and use it here. Yeah, that's true. Okay, so whatever I will pass here as an argument will become upper bounds in here. Okay, that's what makes my function reusable. So let me see if this actually works. No, because yeah, because I don't keep track of my function's name. Okay, and now we have it here and here. Okay, that's fine, but how about passing more arguments? That shouldn't be really a problem. Let me just comment this out, and actually this and this. Okay, and this. Okay. For example, now I would like to use two arguments, the lower bounds and the upper bounds for my function. Okay, let's call it log random number in range. Okay, and I will declare upper bounds and lower bounds, and it's going to be rather easy because it's the same. We're just using lower bounds here and here. Okay, and now I can call my function with two arguments, like 130, and it works great in line 29 here. Okay, but I defined a function and someone else is trying to use it, and he doesn't know whether the first number is upper bounds or lower bounds, so he may incorrectly, or she, call it like this. Okay, not entirely what I expected. Okay, so what can we do is actually tell our function to take an object as an argument, and this changes the way that the function is being called, because now I must specify names for my arguments and label them correctly. And often you will see me using this simple technique to pass the name arguments and to actually assure that they are named correctly. This is actually great because first, when you pass an object as an argument, the order of the arguments doesn't actually play the role in the function itself. Another benefit is that it makes the function more readable, because when we're calling it, we're saying, okay, the upper bounds in the function will be 30 and lower bounds will be 100, and I don't have to guess that. So that's actually really cool. What else? There's this very important case when you like your function to do some stuff and then return it back to you. And actually the functions that return something to you are the best functions because they are easy to test. And we come here to the something called pure function. And pure function is a function that only works on its arguments and then returns the value based on that argument. So it's really the best function. It has input, output, and no so-called side effects. Okay, let's write one, and we'll call it function return random number in range. Okay, it will be actually pretty much the same, so I can just copy this. Yep, and instead of logging, we'll return. Okay, so what will happen is that function will take some arguments, will calculate a value based on that argument, and will return it back to the place where the function was called. So I can do fantastic random number is return random number in range with the upper bounds of 200 and lower bounds of 20. Okay, and now I can log my fantastic random number. Okay, so the function is returning some value, and this value is being attached to my variable. So my variable is being initialized with the value returned from the function. And it should work. Yeah, it does. Let me just do my fantastic random number for readability. Okay, yeah, it works. What is very important for you to know is that function will return, meaning it will end its execution after the return expression. So if I write here console log, this won't get run as we're passing return statement. Well, it will get run. You can see already that this is being grayed out, and if I hover over it, I will see that this code is being enrichable because it's after the return statement. Okay, so I can just log as many times as I'd like, and I won't see that console log in my console. Okay, what else? Then we have something that is called anonymous, yeah, function. Okay, so here all of my functions have a name, and it's fine, but from time to time you can see the functions without a name, so-called anonymous functions. And if I grab the button from my HTML, this is change color, okay, and I will find on click hook, I can just say function document query selector body style background color green. Okay, so what I did, I attached a function to onClickHook, and I didn't give it a name because, well, actually I don't need one. On a click, I just want some function to run. I don't care what the function is being called. Let's see if this works. Yep, it works. What will happen if I will give it a name? Change color. As you can tell, it doesn't really matter, okay? So if we can avoid a clutter in our code, it's definitely wise to do so. What else? The function. Actually, JavaScript has this powerful feature where you can store the function inside of a variable. So I can write just change color function in variable and say, just change it a little bit. Okay, so I've taken the function and I don't even have to name it. It can be anonymous, and I can store it inside of a variable. Okay, and now I can do button on click change, yeah, like this. So I've taken the function, stored it in a variable that I've named, and then I attach a variable to onClickHook. And this should still work. Okay, nice. What else? What else? What else? Oh, so if we'll go back to the methods, like, for example, mathRandom, random, okay, you can see that the function is being stored inside of an object. And it's rather easy to do. I could just declare dog object, say that sound is woof, and I can give it a function give sound, say function function, let's do, okay, console log this sound, okay, and I will dog sound. Dog sound is not a function. Give sound, of course. Give woof. So yeah, and that should look familiar to mathRandom or some actors sound. It's just a function method actually stored in an object. Okay, what else? What else? Oh, the so-called callback function. Because another important concept next to the fact that we can store the function in a variable is that we can pass a function to a function. And a function that is taking another function as an argument is often being called a high order function. Okay? And we can do this like this. For example, I have a function change color with callback, because often when you pass a function to another function to perform something after the high order function does its job, we call that function in an argument list a callback function. So call me back, when you do your stuff, and I will write my function, high order function, like this. Document query selector body style background color is equal to color that we pass, and let's just do, oops, I've done my job, time to call back, and here we're just calling back callback function. Okay, and we can call it like change color function, change with callback, and I will say that the color is black, and the function to call back, I can write an anonymous function if I want. Function alert. This will make a pop-up window with some message. This should be I change the background. Alright. Let's see how it works. Black is not defined because black is a string. And now, okay, you can see how it works. Yeah, the alert shows, okay, and the background is being changed. Maybe this isn't the best function because I just do. Okay, now. Okay, I can see my callback being called. I see that we've done our job and changed the color to black. Okay, this has been going long enough, so I will talk to you about functions more in the next episode. Yeah, see you there. Bye.